This is the Caimen XL from Off-Grid Knives. This is a knife whose time has come, and I'm so glad it has. I was so excited to hear Kerry designed a large version of his Caimen. Here's the Off-Grid Caimen EDC. One of my favorite off-grid knives. You know, I love off-grid knives, and I'm looking at some of the cardboard evidence in this coating on this blade. Anyway, extra large is the Caimen, extra large version of this Caimen EDC. And a great thing about it is that he did not just punch into the computer design, make larger by 10% or 5% or whatever, and then it did that. He accommodated for the fact that it already has a pretty nice size grip and didn't need to get that much wider, but it did need to get longer, obviously, to accommodate the blade and also the kind of cutting you're apt to do with a large blade, large knife like this. And it is a 4-inch knife. Look at that 4-inch Bowie blade. I love it. And just big and broad too. And like its namesake, the Caimen, it has a very, you know, crocodilian looking profile here. Caimen is a small crocodile that lives down in South America, and this original one really captured that, the look of that snout. But with the extra length the design has to express itself, I think it looks even better XL, and the clip has just a little bit more space to spread its, what's the word? Stretch its legs, not spread, to stretch its legs, and really makes this design look just so nice. And that's how I feel about a lot of blade designs. Like, for instance, I gotta grab it because I just put it away, but for instance, with the Hinderer Knives XM24 Bowie, this shape is so beautiful, and it is a fully expressed version of the Hinderer Bowie, whereas the XM18 3.5 inch to me looks a little truncated, looks a little squished. So the extra space here in this knife also benefits, and I just think it looks great. But it's not just about looks. I know oftentimes that's what I dwell on, but it is about performance as well. And this thing, this is in D2, this Caimen EDC. I've used this a lot. For a while it was my desk knife. I rotate that responsibility. But it's already a somewhat thin blade stock, but it's a very broad blade, 1.25 inches wide, and that's half the height there. So, you know, basically 3/4 inch there for a saber grind. It's really, really thin. It just zips through material. And then they put coating on these off-grid knives. Oh, this is another one, the enforcer here. But they put coatings on their blades that just make them slip through, especially cardboard. That's where I feel it the most. That's probably the most kind of work I do with these things anyway, on the whole. And the Cleaver, another off-grid knife with the same sort of coating, but even more slender blade geometry, just zips through material, especially cardboard. And I expect this to do the same. It looks like the same coating. Same blade stock thickness, which is great because it is going to be even thinner, because it's a full 2.5, or I'm sorry, it's a full 1.5 inches wide here. So here, this is 3/4 inch and about, and just nice and thin. This is Sandvik 14C28N. I don't know of any off-grid knives that use that, but I do love that blade steel, and it is easy to maintain. I find it very sharp and keeps an edge reasonably long, and has a very good corrosion resistance. At least the 14C I've had from plenty of other companies, so I have no reason to believe this won't be the same. These Best Tech knives are made, these Off-Grid knives are made by Best Tech Knives, and I have massive respect for Best Tech Knives. Everything that I own made by them is awesome, whether it's under their own shingle or it's an OEM knife like Vero or something like that, or in this case Off-Grid. Just awesome. Now I mentioned Vero before. They're like a luxury brand. Off-Grid has some definite luxury items, but they're built to have super high quality knives that are rugged, that you can use on adventures. Kerry Orifice, the guy who started the company and designs all of these knives, you may have seen him right here on the Knife Junkie podcast. He is an adventurer. He's a surfer. He's a guy who, lives like a lot of us would like to, like cover of Men's Health magazine, and so he built his knives originally for his own adventures, and shares them with the rest of us, which I dig. And just like that Bowie blade, I dig it. I love all this here too. Nice jimping all the way up. You can really stretch your thumb out, put some power behind the cuts you'd make with this. And if you needed to puncture something, you've got a great tip for doing so, especially with that swedge. It's essentially almost a dagger tip. Diamond cross section is what I mean. Handle is G10 elongated by comparison. Obviously, it's gonna be, but really comfortable in hand. It gives you a lot of room. If you wanted to turn this into, he doesn't do lanyard holes on any of his knives. That's, if I had to pick one thing, that's probably the one thing I would pick. Add lanyard holes, because I like them sometimes. But if you were to use this in a sort of chopping motion, you have plenty of room here to do so. You have really excellent jimping here. This palm jimping is important, especially with flippers, where you're bracing it like this to flip it. It's important, but it's also important on larger handled knives like this, in case you are doing that a little impromptu, chopping, tapping, that kind of thing. Using the tip might come in handy. Size is very nice though on this handle. Gives you a lot of room, and if you have big giant mitts, they'll fit fine on this handle. The clip here, let me close it. I'm likely to cut myself if I'm just looking through the viewfinder here. The clip, excellent clip. I like it. Just standard loop over deep carry pocket clip, but with all of the new knives coming out from Off-Grid, all of the clips are recessed into little pockets, milled into the G10, and then also using those flat head screws so that nothing interrupts the path of your jeans as you push it in there. And it will also be less likely to shred your jeans or your pants pockets. Let's see. I can't middle finger flick this one. I can middle finger flick some of them sometimes just off the coating. All right, none of these, I guess. Do you want to see that trick again? In reverse grip, very comfortable in reverse grip. I don't always find large knives comfortable in reverse grip. This one is really comfortable. Look at this. This is coincidental to my hand size, but my forefinger fits perfectly in the clip well there, and that gives my thumb the perfect amount to stretch all the way out and really grab onto the top there, and that jimping is nice to engage with. So this is a really comfortable reverse grip knife. If, say, you had to jam this into the lid of a 55-gallon oil drum hiding oozes or something like that, say you're working customs, this would do the trick, no doubt. I don't know how that 14C28N would stand up to that particular chore. You might want to use a different tool, like a torch, acetylene torch or something. But if you had to do it, you'd be doing it in comfort and in style. Let me show it off with a couple of other Off-Grid knives. This is a new limited edition Enforcer XL, also a 4-inch blade. In this case, a super awesome bellied Wharncliffe, or some might call it, some types of people might call that a reverse tanto, but I refuse to accept that term. This one nicely, and oh, it's got that beautiful G10. This is the Red Dawn edition. Oh man, Red Dawn, great movie. And well, great knife. I love the Enforcer XL. And here it is with the Caimen EDC. That thing snaps so hard it almost flew out of my hand. Also a great knife. And let me show it with one other. Oh wait, I already showed you that. Okay, that's it. Oh, here it is. Here it is with an XM24 Bowie. Now, they're two different costs and price points and everything, but I wanted to show you. You know this to be a large knife, so this gives you a good idea of size, because this is a 4-inch blade and this is a nicely sized handle. It's funny seeing the 24 next to this. It looks kind of small, but this doesn't feel overly large. It just feels just right. All right. This is the Off-Grid Knives, the new Off-Grid Knives XL Caimen, the big brother to the Caimen EDC. Big hit from last year. So do yourself a favor, check this out. It's super, super cool. Thanks for watching.